The Dreamland Billionaire series came to an end and I don't know how to cope. Obviously, I'm threatening people if they don't like the book. I feel so rude that I didn't introduce you to my Squishmallow. This is Guppy. I'm not the biggest like teddy bear stuffed animal girl, but he was coming home with me. He watches me read a lot of smut. We have a very open relationship, obviously. Okay, we're just gonna do it right here. That's what she said. Grow up, it's a new year, let's not be like this. Hi friends, it's me again. I am probably wearing the same outfit I wore in either the last video or an upcoming video. I don't know. I'm pre-filming a lot of videos because working a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday does not leave a lot of time to do the things that make me happy. So I'm trying to find a way around that and just start pre-filming something. So in the next couple videos, if I'm wearing the exact same thing, it's because I am trying to keep up with my creativity so that I don't forget my will to live. Okay, now that we're done being morbid, I know that I did not post my December wrap up. I tried to film that several times and it just was not working. If I still have the clips, I'll put them in here so that you can see how under duress I was filming that damn video. I don't know what's happening right now, but I've turned on my camera to film this intro 5 times and I'm just not feeling it. I don't know what it is. It's kind of hard for me to form words talking about these books, which is stupid. Like, I love these books. I should be able to talk about them. What the hell is my YouTube turned to? Like, am I having a crisis right now? This video is not going up. It's not going to be posted. I don't feel like filming right now or talking about books. Like, I literally got ready a little bit for this, you know? I was super excited to finally have time to film, and now that I do, now that my roommate isn't here and I can actually just talk, I'm like, kind of want to turn this off and literally just go watch Suits. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. This year we're not gonna do that. I'm not gonna force myself to make content that I'm not proud of, and if I'm not feeling the video, if I can't even get my thoughts in order, we're gonna cut the camera off and just fucking forget about it at this point. I will put a template up here for my December wrap up though. I read 14 books, I believe, and I did end up reaching my 2022 reading goal of 100 books. I will never ever do that shit again, reading 100 books in a year. I was crawling to get to that finish line. It was stressful. And if any of you say anything about my 2 missing nails, we're gonna fight. Let's not do it. It's Black History Month, okay? Let's not chit chat because I don't want to keep y'all here all day. You've got big girl things to do. I read 8 books in January. Most of them were audiobooks. So my first read of the year was American Queen by Sierra Simone. Saint by Sierra Simone was my #1 read of the year. So I definitely wanted to dive back into Sierra Simone's writing because I think the way she writes, everything, even the smut scenes, is beautiful. The words she uses, the syntax, like all that shit, it eats every single time. So I knew that this one was a kind of poly relationship as well. So it's MMF, male, male, female, and it just so happens to take place between a woman, a vice president, and the president of the United States of America. So if you didn't know, I'm a huge fan of Scandal. It's one of my favorite TV shows of all time, and hearing that there was a book about a girl not only being with the president but the vice president, she wrote this for me. This book follows Greer, Ash, and Embry. Ash is the president and Embry is the vice president. Greer is the granddaughter of a vice president, I believe, or her grandfather used to do a lot of political things, so she's grown up being in political environments. One night she ends up running into Ash, who is 10 years older than her. She was only 16 at the time. They have an immediate connection, but obviously it is illegal for them to be together. So keep in mind that this book is very taboo, might make you a little uncomfy. Nothing really happened besides them kissing when she was 16, but if that's still too much for you, then maybe stray away from this kind of book. It's very taboo, and Sierra Simone writes very taboo, so just know what you're getting yourself into. It kind of follows a then and now timeline of Greer when she's younger and when she first meets Ash, and she's super in love with him instantly, but he's off in a war, so he can't be with her and he's not responding back to her. It's years later now. Greer is a professor at a university, and Embry shows up saying that the president would like to meet with her. Mind you, they haven't seen each other in like 5 years, so she's like, what the fuck? But also she has a history with Embry as well that the president doesn't know about, so it's a lot of angst, a lot of drama, so much spice. Oh my god, I love this a lot. Not just seeing the relationship that Greer was able to have with Ash, but also the relationship and friendship that Ash has with Embry, who is his best friend, and then Embry has a relationship with Greer. So getting these 3 people in a relationship was amazing. Loved it. So my camera battery just died. We're starting this off great. Oh shit, what's the next book I read? Hold on on that. Hold on. I listened to Shattered Sea by Catherine Cowles. This is the 4th book in the Tattered and Torn series. Again, I read most of the books in December, so I haven't really talked about that series as a whole just yet. To be very honest, I don't remember much about this book. I know that it started off really good for me, but then as the story went on, I kind of found myself losing interest. I don't remember much. I barely remember the characters' names. I know there's a Bo. His name is Bo. Oh gosh. Lakin. Yeah, her name was Lakin. This story starts off with Lakin being, I think, 18 years old, and she's with her friends. They're hanging out. On their way back from hanging out at this beach, I think, a guy kind of runs them off the road, and Lakin's boyfriend ends up passing away in the car accident. Years pass. I think she works at an art gallery or something, but this is how you know when I don't really remember a book. In walks Bo, who is like this famous actor, and he's in town because I think he's writing a script with like small town vibes, so he kind of wants to get firsthand experience or something along that nature. If I'm explaining this wrong, I know. But I do know that this book was my least liked in the series as a whole. It gave me Final Destination vibes because the friends that she was with the night that she got in that accident, the survivors or whatever, started dying. I was like, I've seen this film before. But the thing with this series reminds me a lot of some of Devney Perry's books, where it's small town vibes, but also there's some murder mystery kind of things. Anywho, I thought this one was fine. Wasn't super obsessed with it. Obviously, I forgot most of what happened, so it was okay. It was okay. The next book I read was The Mixtape by Brittany Cherry. This book has been on my shelf for such a long time, so I wanted to finally dive into it. Also, if you didn't know, if you have Kindle Unlimited and you download this book to your Kindle, you get the audiobook for free. That was great, especially if you're like me and you run out of credits all the time. This is free if you download it on Kindle Unlimited, so just so you know. This one follows Emery and Oliver. Emery is a single mom and she is struggling to pay for everything and to raise her daughter. And Oliver was a rock star, him and his twin brother. I think in the book they were described as like a black Dan and Shay. I'm not mad about that, honestly. Oliver's brother ends up passing away pretty early on in the book. Throughout the rest of the book, you are seeing Oliver struggle and he's drinking his problems away. He doesn't want to perform because his bandmate, his brother, has passed, so he kind of doesn't know what to do with life. One day he stumbles into the bar that Emery works at, I think, or the restaurant, and causes all this commotion. She ends up taking him back to her place and helping him sober up a little bit, and there they're able to form a kind of friendship, and Oliver starts to help her out a little bit. She's also an aspiring chef, so I think at one point in the book he hires her as his chef, so he's helping with all of her money problems, and of course they end up falling in love. This one was pretty cute, very heartfelt. It wasn't my favorite thing ever. This book deals with a lot of heavy topics, but at the same time for me they felt a little surface level. At the end I felt like it dragged a little bit, but it was still a pretty good read. The narrators did a really good job. Then I listened to Fractured Sky by Catherine Cowles. This is the 5th and final book in the Tattered and Torn series, and I've been waiting for this book since the first one because it has to do with Shiloh and Ramsey. In the first book, Shiloh is kidnapped, so throughout her entire life, throughout the rest of the books as well, you can see how much she has still struggled with that. And I think in the book she's 27 now. Finally being in her head was so good because we've only gotten the perspective of all the other characters and her siblings, so I was dying to finally know how she felt about being in environments that made her uncomfortable, or how she dealt or coped with being kidnapped at such a young age. I really liked it. Ramsey in this book is kind of a recluse. I think it was mentioned in the last book that he went to jail for something, but he was exonerated, so he's kind of the town's outcast. Like, everyone thinks he's a dangerous man, but he runs a farm, I'm pretty sure, or something like that. He tries to help abandoned and abused like horses and cattle, things of that nature, like get away from the people that are hurting them. So I thought that was really cute, like having a character who everyone in the book is like, no, he's a bad guy, but really he's out here saving animals. Like, are you kidding? Shiloh and Ramsey were so freaking adorable, and I really loved where their love story ended up going. Just seeing Shiloh so comfortable with someone, like especially outside of her family, meant the entire world. Just finally seeing her perspective and seeing how she felt about relationships as a whole, because she's never been in one. I really liked it. I thought it was a phenomenal end to the series, and it's definitely my favorite book in the series. Then I listened to Tattered by Devney Perry. I am trying to get through Devney Perry's backlist. She has like 30 books, so it's gonna take me a minute. Listening to a small town book on audio just hits different for me. I don't know what it is, but I eat it up. So I wanted to move on to her Lark Cove series, starting with Tattered, and this book follows Thea and Logan. Thea had a rough start at life. I'm pretty sure her mom left her in a dumpster when she was a baby, so it's a great way to just wake up to life, you know? She's kind of had a rough upbringing, and then years later she works at this bar, I'm pretty sure, and Logan comes in, who is a super rich lawyer, I think, from New York. They have a one-night stand. Thea never gets his phone number or his last name. They just have this one-night stand and go their separate ways. Turns out Thea ends up being pregnant, and she cannot get in contact with the baby's father because she does not have his number or his last name. So I don't want to say it's a secret baby trope because she tried to get in contact with him, but there's also a child on earth and the father doesn't know. So we're just gonna go with secret baby. And I usually stray away from the secret child trope because it's not my favorite to read at all. Like, I think it's one of the most fucked up things ever, to be very honest. I'm already iffy about kids being in books, so the fact that the kid is gonna be in a book and then the parent is not even gonna know about the kid, it's just not my favorite thing to read. It always rubs me the wrong way. However, I actually really like this book, which meant a lot to me because, as we can see, me and kids were not on the same level. No. I think it's like 5 or 6 years later, Logan ends up being back in the town with the bar, and he runs into Thea, and there the bomb is dropped of, oh, there you are, haven't seen you in a minute, couldn't get in contact with you, but you have a child. The story just kind of follows Thea and Logan trying to figure out what they're gonna do, because Logan wants to go back to the city and he wants Thea and the child to move with him, but Thea is not about it. She wants to stay in her small town. She doesn't really like his family. So there were very domestic issues being brought up in this, which I kind of really liked. And the fact that they were able to come to a common ground by the end was really, really cute. Not mad about it at all. The fine print was also released on audio last month, and of course I had to give it a listen, you know? I planned on rereading the series anyway in January because Final Offer was coming out, but the fact that we got the fine print on audio, I ran so fast. I don't want to go too in depth about the fine print because I literally have so many videos talking about it, but this was phenomenal on audio, and listening to it and getting reacclimated with Rowan and Zara and just the characters that mean so much to me, it was so fun. And I actually found myself tearing up listening to this because I knew that the series was coming to an end. So just starting from the top and just seeing all the tiny little breadcrumbs that we got from each of these characters, each of the Kane brothers, just meant so much. So I had fun. The audiobook was phenomenal. I will be re-listening ASAP. Speaking of the Dreamland Billionaire series, I received an arc of Final Offer. She's thick, okay? Y'all know how I feel about Cal Kane. I have been obsessed with that man since the fine print. Like, he would say 2 words and I would be a puddle of mush, which is embarrassing for me because this man is blonde, but we forgive him. This was one of my most anticipated reads of the year, and it did not disappoint at all. It's almost 600 pages. It's literally like 592 or something like that. I ate it up. I was literally forcing myself not to read it quickly because saying goodbye was not happening. Like, are you joking? How am I supposed to say goodbye? That's not a thing. Sorry. Final Offer is here. We have Cal Kane, who is the middle brother. Because we're in the Dreamland Billionaire series universe, you know that in the first book, the Kane brothers, their grandfather gave them tasks to complete in order to receive their inheritance. So we're finally on Cal's task, which is to go spend a summer at this lake house and sell it by the end of the summer. He gets there and Lana, his childhood best friend turned ex, is there, and her name is on the deed. You have second chance romance, you have friends to lovers, you have forced proximity, billionaires. Like, this man was spending so much money and I loved it. I ate that shit up. This book was so special to me because in previous books we know that Cal comes off as like the playboy, the funny golden retriever kind of guy, but in this you really get to see how much he struggles because he has an alcohol problem and he used to abuse substances. So just seeing his perspective on that and how he dealt with it and how he continues to try to heal from it, oh, it made me so emotional because I just wanted to hug him and punch him in the face all at the same time. But Lana, a queen, because she was not taking his shit. I will say she's stronger than me because the minute he would have showed up at my door, I would have folded, like, instantly. The mouth this man has on him, she stayed strong. I'm proud of her, but it couldn't be me because the fuck? This was my favorite thing Lauren Asher has ever written. The fact that it also takes place in Michigan. She literally wrote this for me and I don't want to hear anything about it, okay? If you don't like this book, literally don't let me see that. Do not let me see you not like this book, okay? For my sanity, because this means everything. This was everything, and this series as a whole is phenomenal. The Dreamland Billionaire series came to an end and I don't know how to cope. Obviously, I'm threatening people if they don't like the book. That series holds a special place in my heart and I adore Lauren Asher so much. So the fact that it's the end makes me sad, but I can't wait to see what she continues to do in the future. Yeah, I'm gonna miss them a lot, so. Okay, before we cry, let's move on. Lastly, in January, I read American Prince. Y'all, I don't know what it was about this book specifically, but it took me all month to get through. Literally all month. I was reading it for like 3.5 weeks. And let me clarify that I loved it. Nothing was wrong with the book. For some reason, I just couldn't concentrate on it, which I don't know, but this year we're not forcing myself to read. So I spent most of January reading this very slowly, but I got through it finally and I loved it. This one, I don't really want to say much about because there's so much shit that happens in here. So I don't think American Queen was dual POV. But in this one, you have Greer's point of view and Embry's point of view. So this is essentially Embry's book, and you get to see the past from his perspective of being in the war with Ash and then meeting Greer and then running for office and being in love with 2 people. So it was so much, and I felt so bad for Embry because he has sacrificed so much for both of them, and it has to be kept a secret because of all of these other nuances. The spice in this, Jesus Christ, like, dude. I don't know how Sierra Simone does it, but it's just like she knows what to write in order to like reach me, if that makes sense, if you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna get kicked off the internet. Falling in love with these characters has hit me all at once. So the fact that there's only 1 book in the series and it's the thickest one, and I'm pretty sure it's Ash's point of view, I'm going to sob. I can already feel myself getting hella emotional because the shit they went through in this book, why did we take it there, Sierra? I am really loving the series so far, and I'm kind of mad that I waited this long to read it because y'all, this is truly for the girls, gays, and theys, and non-binary. So do with that what you will. So those are all the books I read in January. I think 8 is a pretty good start. I started a new job this month, so the fact that I got through 8 books, I'm very proud of myself. I hope you all had a good January. I'm super excited for this year, and as usual, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like me, unfortunately, please subscribe, and I will see y'all next time. Mwah.